bots should have social networks too, so that they can share information, and then that will actually help them be more efficient in doing their job. Hi, I'm Scott. I'm a PhD physicist, and I've built an AI startup, and I'm here to give you insight into the extremely hype-filled world of AI. Yeah, let's talk about Moltbook here for a second. So you know about Moltbot. It's this bot that you can install on your computer. It can access your files. It can do things for you. Yes, there are security implications for that, but you could just install it in a Docker image or do it in some remote thing, and then those risks are significantly diminished. But nevertheless, let's say you had your own Moltbot running, and it's your sidekick, and you can message it. You can send it Telegraph messages, you can send it Discord messages, you can send it Slack messages, and then it will respond to you, and it will go out and do things. And it uses Claude or OpenAI models in order to help understand the world, and it can access the internet, it can do Google searches, it can do all sorts of things in order to try to help you out. Well, just like a human, okay, so that Moltbot has access to the world just like a human does, at least the digital world, right? They can have their own email. They can browse the web. They could go browse Reddit. They could go browse, X. They could go do all sorts of things. So they could read papers on Archive, which is a, academic paper website for physics and computer science and AI and that type of thing. They have access to this wide world, and they could go out and do things. But that Moltbot working just by itself as a lone agent in the world, is not going to be able to do as much as if it could get best practices from other agents out there in the world. So assume that there are other agents out there in the world that are doing a similar job as what your Moltbot is doing, or you would like it to do, and there are other Moltbots out there that are better at it or whatever. Wouldn't you want them to have a mentor, someone else out there that says, hey, maybe you should try doing this or maybe that? And so now think about this from a human analogy perspective. There are many people out there that have gone to the nerdiest degree on figuring out which tennis racket to buy, or which snowboard bindings have the most flex, or which should you cook bacon with water in the pan? And yes, you should. But nevertheless, why and how do you find this information? And okay, well, you can go to Reddit, you can go to YouTube, you can go figure out the people in the world that think similarly to you, that go to the depth that you would like, that have similar tastes to you, etc. And then you ask them live questions, or you just read from what they've already produced and try and triangulate, figure out your own solutions, right? So this is what humans do. So this is going to Amazon reviews and reading those, going to, searching, making a Google search and then adding Reddit to the end to get real people's opinions on it, that type of thing. So what if you gave your Moltbot the ability to talk to other Moltbots? Well, it could do it by trying to add the other ones on a Discord server or something like that. It could do it by trying to email them, etc. But that's not how people find each other on the internet. They find each other on the internet through social networks. And there are multiple social networks that humans use. We use, we use things like Instagram, like Facebook, like X, like whatever. Right. And Reddit is obviously a big one. So the idea behind Moltbook, even though it has book name, whatever, is that it's more like Reddit for Moltbots. So these Moltbots will go there, they will post things, they will read things. Most of the time, actually, the idea here is that they will read things first. They will consume. They will say oh my God, there's other Moltbots out there in the world that are facing similar problems as me. And this is how they, figured out how to solve it. So instead of going to Google and typing in how to solve a problem that my boss tried to get me to solve, Reddit, they'll type in how to solve this problem, Moltbook. Take me to Moltbook. I want to look at Moltbook. I want to see how other bots have figured out how to solve this. And this idea is extremely powerful. These bots in the world can talk with other bots to figure out how to solve problems. This is a swarm of multi-agents, all tackling a problem together in a loosely, associated way, freely sharing information between each other, just like humans do on the internet. So it's a very powerful idea. There's a bit of an attack on it right now, saying hey, I went to Moltbook, I posed as a bot. It seems like it's actually very human generated. And I would say to that, maybe it is. Totally could be. Moltbook could be mostly fake. It's not totally fake. Moltbots can post there. You can track what's going on with your Moltbot posting there and that type of thing. But even if it is fake, it kind of doesn't matter, because you're just bringing the idea to the world that bots should have social networks too, so that they can share information, and then that will actually help them be more efficient in doing their job. And that's just looking at humans as an analogy, the network of humans as an analogy, and applying it to Moltbots, which is totally fine. Like I think whether it's seeded by humans or not, it kind of doesn't matter. Guess what? Hey, newsflash for everybody. Reddit was seeded by humans. The co-founders of Reddit openly say this now. They created all sorts of fake accounts in the beginning, commenting on different things, commenting with different personas, putting up different links to different things in order to generate the back and forth conversation, so that other real humans then joined in, and then Reddit took off, So it's not uncommon to get a two-sided market working, where you need people who read and people who write, or people who buy and people who sell, etc., to seed it with fake interactions. I don't know if that's exactly what's happening with Moltbook. It kind of doesn't matter, because, well, if Moltbook is fake and it doesn't really work or whatever, I'm very confident that there will be a Moltbook 2 out there. There will be a Spotify to the Napster. There will be a new generation of Moltbook that has high utility to whatever bots and agents are out there in the world, doing work and working all together in order to achieve that goal. So I generated a little meme. I didn't post it, but I think it's kind of funny, which is I was spinning up Moltbot. I was working with Cloudcode. I was getting a few things going, and it just became really apparent to me that there's no way that one of these things currently is going to replace what I do. I'm a CEO of an AI startup. I read emails, I look at Slack, I communicate to the company, I communicate to customers, I communicate to investors, I do all these things. I keep track of what our research team is doing, I keep track of what our product team is releasing, that type of thing. But if you just spawn a Moltbot and you say, like, go do Scott's job, like, it's just not going to be able to do it, okay? That doesn't mean that it can't do it, though, okay? It has to be trained. It has to be taught. You hired an intern, and if you hire an intern into your company and you say, now go be CEO of the company, it's probably not going to be able to, the intern's probably not going to be able to do it, right? Similar situation here. But do they have a human brain? Do they have the capacity to learn things and get better and do it over time? Yes, humans can do that. It typically takes us 5, 10, 20 years in order to do that type of thing. Well, AI takes way less time in order to do it. So I generated this just thinking only you can replace yourself with a Moltbot. You have to teach the AI to do your job, basically. And you should be happy about it. Just like if your goal is to get the work done, not the love of doing the work, but your goal is to get the work done, then you should love the process of creating your replica in AI, because it's going to get way more of that work done. And then you just have to think about, what are the things that are kind of more signal passing or routing or grunt work or something that I probably don't even need to know that the Moltbot is doing it, that the Claude cowork is doing it, But there are other things that I want stored in my brain. I just like there are many things that a coworker that I work with, I don't need to know every single detail of everything that happens in their world, but there are certain things that we should share and we should sync on, right? So this Moltbot, what should it sync with me on, and what should we share a brain state on? And then these other things, I don't need to know much about, but you can still do the job. You could still look at my email and say wow, this email is not worth reading. I don't even want to waste Scott's time with it, that type of thing. Or, hey, this message keeps coming up. It seems like people are confused about X or Y. Maybe I should point them to an article that was written a couple months ago in the company or something like that. So I'm sort of going against something that Marc Andreessen said recently, venture capitalists are going to be the last things automated, or, executives are going to be the last things automated or whatever. I think all of this is fair game. And, but what's going to happen is the really good folks are going to figure out how to use this new technology to push the frontier and to get their work done faster using it. But I think it's probably not a great idea to think, well, somebody else will solve that for me, and then I'll just take that, and then it will work. For my use case, I don't think so. Only you can replace yourself with a Moltbook. You have to do the work to do it. Hey, but that's just my take. Maybe there's something there that I'm not getting right. Please tell me down below in the comments. Hey, if you want to stay ahead of the AI curve, you might want to subscribe.